Hey guys, welcome back. Again, yes, we're going to do some more bank stuff, as you can see from that. What we got today is a 2017. This one came to me all the way from Colorado. And we're going to get into this right away so I can get started on it, show you, because we're going to do more than just a couple banks things. We're also going to be doing a couple fleece things and some bulletproof diesel things. So anyway, let me show you what we got and show you what we're doing. What we have is a 2017 with just over 100,000 miles on it. She is gorgeous. Nice, clean truck, clean engine. I love it when people keep their stuff nice and clean like this. Beautiful truck and beautiful packages. So yes, we're going to do a monster ram. We're going to do boost tubes. We're also going to be doing the Fleece coolant bypass and the bulletproof diesel water pump. Those of you know, you know. Anyway, also what I did before we start any job is I go through with the AnyScan XTOOL code reader, pull a scan report on it, make sure that we don't have any DTCs in the PCM previously existing. This tool is awesome. Again, there's going to be discount codes for when you want to buy one of them, plus discount codes for the bank stuff. But alrighty, so for some tips and tricks, this is all, been covered several times, but I'm going to go over it again. So tips: take that clip out of there that retains the engine cover. It's no longer needed. We don't want it vibrating around. Get it out, take it out, throw it away. Don't bend up the ear of that other retaining plate, because it just looks stupid and unfinished when you do that. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This little burger right here, okay? I have seen some people that leave it in and they just bend that ear up to make room for the EGR crossover tube. Spend the extra 3 minutes to remove the CCV filter and get this thing out of the way. We don't want that in there no more. Any of the Christmas tree fasteners that are left on, these ones will be reused right here and here. However, the ones on here will not be removed. I've already cut them off, thrown them away. Again, we want this to look like a finished product, not some hacked add-on piece of crap. So make it look like one. Get rid of the Christmas tree fasteners that no longer apply. So for instance, this one right here that would normally clip onto the back of the monster ram, cut that off. This one was already broke off from age, but cut that off just so it looks better, more polished, refined. When you're taking these things apart, you see how there's a little bit of dust down in there from removing that plate? Don't blow it out with compressed air. Use a vacuum, use a shop vac, get that thing cleaned out. Make sure that your sealing surface is cleaned all the way up to the block. Right there. Especially back in that corner over there where a little bit more gunkier stuff can tend to get attracted to. So make sure your sealing surfaces is perfectly clean. Now, when you're going back together, we're going to show you why we're going back together with this. For one, we're going to show you about the air grade heater. This one is fine. He's doing this as a preventative. That nut is not backing off or loosening up as well. I've said it time and time and again. You got to watch out for this one right here though too. That one is also a killer. So this one is not too plugged up. There is some, nastiness on there just because that's how these are designed with the EGR systems and everything. But look at the difference between how much breathing room you have from the factory to the banks. Factory, banks. It breathes way better. So anyway, that's why we're doing that. I'm going to go ahead and get this put back together, and then we're going to start on the boost tubes. I have already drained all the coolant in preparation for doing the Fleece coolant bypass, and I'm also going to remove the air box so I can do the water pump. Anyway, we'll show you a couple little clips throughout that whole process along the way. Okay, while I've got the monster ram going in, I wanted to take some time right here in case I had to go over the top to get these nuts and bolts out, and it makes it easier when some of that stuff is out of the way. But I did it without having to remove anything on top. I went everything on the bottom. Now, this is the Fleece coolant bypass. What it does is routes coolant from the back of the engine, from the back of the cylinder head, back up to the front thermostat housing. So to do that, you have to get rid of this plate off of the back of the engine, which supports the head to the adapter flange for the bell housing. Some people have asked me, if we take this off, do we lose strength? And of course you do. But I would assume also that if they wanted strength, then they would have these bolts torqued down to more than probably 15 foot-pounds. They don't. They come off real easy. So yes, it does take away, but I'm going to assume that if you're, in stock form still, or even slightly modified, then you're not going to have any worries about that. Let's get past that. So after you get this off, you have to get the freeze plug out of the back of the head. It's not the easiest thing to do. This is what I use. Some long extensions, all put together, and a hammer. Come up from the transfer case on the driver's side and get this freeze plug right here cocked. It was actually like this in the back of the head, and then you can go back through the passenger wheel well and take the liner out, and you can reach back up in there with a little tiny screwdriver and get it dug out. It's not that hard to do. So anyway, we're going to start going back together. Now, where this freeze plug come out, there is some sealant that they use from the factory. That's why Fleece gives you the Scotch-Brite pad, so that you can clean up that area very well before you put in the new thermostat back there. Now, there's O-rings on there. Lube them up. Very good. Want to make sure that that thing seals. You don't want to have any leaks at all moving forward. Now, when you do go to put this back in, when you have the cab on, I suggest first you need to make sure that that's tight into there. Then you attach your hose to it. Make sure you attach your hose to it, because trying to get this fitting tight on there through the wheel well is not the easiest thing. So make sure you have the hose turned correctly so that this clocks on to the new thermostat housing perfectly, and it doesn't put that hose in a twist or a bind. Let me get this thing put back in there and we'll show you what we're talking about. Okay, so we got the thermostat housing mounted on the back. We've routed up our new coolant line, installed our new thermostat housing up here for the front. Got everything secured with these cool clamps that are zip ties that they give us with the kit. Fleece, those are awesome. I like them. Anyway, now we're going to move on to the Insane Diesel, or the Bulletproof Diesel water pump. That's this guy right down here. So I'm going to get this one pulled out and show you a comparison between the factory one and the Bulletproof Diesel one. I think you guys are going to like the difference. So give me a few minutes and I'll be right back. Okay, so here we have the factory POS and the Bulletproof Diesel water pump. This thing is awesome. This is all machine billet. This is plastic. You can hear it. Yeah, plastic. Billet. Now let's look at the fronts. This one's about 6 millimeters smaller than this one, so it spins a little bit faster, helps move that coolant through. The shaft going through is about 30% bigger. Same with the bearing, about 30% bigger than the factory pieces of crap. Now, factory runs you about $750, $800. I believe these are right around $399. So there is no question at all what I'm going to choose to put on every one of them. And I have yet to see one of these fail. So this is the Bulletproof Diesel water pump. And oh yeah, tips and tricks. So one thing, when you're putting this seal in right here, this big O-ring, which is right here, I dab some grease around it and in the hole to hold that in while you install it, so it doesn't fall out and you end up having a bad day when you go to fill your cooling system. So let's get this baby installed. Okay, boys, there she is. Bulletproof Diesel water pump installed, belt back on. I can put the air box back in, but I'm gonna wait because I still got to do boost tubes. Now I'm gonna get the monster ram put on, and next video will be hopefully a tip or a trick or two on doing these boost tubes. So stay tuned for a few minutes. Oh, and one more thing I wanted to talk about on that fleece bypass. So on the coolant bypass, when you remove this guy right here, you have a Christmas tree retainer for the transmission vent hose. Yes, take the Christmas tree retainer off of the hose so that it's not there, but you still have to secure the hose so that it's not just flopping around. I zip tie it to the harness all the way up at the top of the bell housing. Stays relatively in the same location as what it was when it was attached to there, but it's also not going to flop around. So anyway, make sure you secure that vent hose. All right. Anyway, back to it. I'm going to get some stuff put together, and then when I get to the boost tubes, I'll see you again. All right. So passenger side boost tube is in. And for all of those, again, who are installing these at their house or whatever, even the guys in the shop, make sure that you rotate that boot where the offset is up so that the oil filter can still go out through the wheel well. And make sure that your clamps and everything else are not touching, binding, hitting, or otherwise going to compromise coolant tubes or anything else. Now, on another note about this boost tube and oil filter thing, I have seen in a couple situations where you still cannot get that oil filter out through the wheel well, and it's not because of the boost tube, but most likely it's because your motor mounts are wore and they're sagging. When those motor mounts start sagging, it can drop this boost tube in relation to the frame 3/4 of an inch, not allowing you to get that oil filter out underneath that boost tube. When the motor mounts are in good shape and that boost tube boot is clocked correctly, you will have no problem getting that oil filter out. Okay, and there she is. She's completed. Monster ram is in. Boost tubes are on. The fleece coolant bypass is in and operational. I just got back from a test drive. Watch my temperatures, purge all my coolant. I'll check that again here in a little bit. Make sure that it doesn't need any more. We got the bulletproof water pump in there. And yeah, this one's done and ready to go. So I'll go ahead and get with customer, let them know it's okay to come pick her up, and I'll get this video all stitched together and ready for you guys. So I want to thank you all again for watching the videos and commenting, good or bad. Like it, share it please, that always helps. And yeah, we'll talk to you again on the next one. Later.